The reason which you all have to have one book into your hand is that you are going to make a note of everything. Are you getting the point? These things I'm not going to share with you. You have to make a note of everything. First of all, we'll listen the things properly, we'll consume it, we'll do it, and then I will give you the enough time to make a note of it. Shall we start with the same? Right? Chalo. Let's start with the first topic. The name of the topic is known as Professional Ethics and Liabilities of an Audit. First of all, let me give you the overview of this chapter. First, understand what this chapter is going to give you. Understand that there is new code of ethics which has already been set up by ICAI. Now, first thing you need to know is, sir, what do you mean by code of ethics? Code of ethics is something which the ICAI is telling you to follow as a practicing CA or as a non-practicing CA. So either you are in practice or you are not in practice, ICAI is always watching you. You dare to not follow the code of ethics, there are so and hell lot of punishments available in this chapter which will be imposed on you. What you can do as a practicing CA, what you can't do as a practicing CA, everything will be given to you. Now, main point. There are two code of ethics. How many? Two. One is the old one and one is the new one. New one is yet to be implemented, not yet implemented, even though it came in 2020. So ICAI has added overview of the new code of ethics. What ICAI has added? Overview. Just a summary of the new code of ethics, and the old code of ethics is completely in detail is there in your portion. Okay, in repeating, how many code of ethics we have? Two. One is the old one and one is the new one. What you have to do fully is what? Old one. New one ko only what they have introduced? Overview. Ki what is going to happen in the future? What changes are going to be brought in the future? Just an overview. Plus, there is one amendment which has been recently added that is called NOCLAR. What is the name of the amendment? NOCLAR. Non-compliance of laws and regulations. NOCLAR. What is the full form? Non-compliance of laws and regulation. So we will understand what NOCLAR is all about. And finally, we will do some ICAI guidelines. And finally, we'll do some self-regulatory measures. Which regulatory? ठीक है. तो first of all, we are going to understand the new code of ethics का overview. What new code of ethics का overview ICAI is giving. First of all, what it is going to cover? It is going to cover practicing CS as well as non-practicing CS. And I'll tell you what is the difference between the new one and old one. Remember, we are going to call you professional accountants now. What we are going to call you? Professional accountants in service, which means we are talking about those CAs who are going into employment. Professional accountants in what? Public practice. Professional accountants in what? These are the changes have come. In the old one, we used to call them as MIP, MIS. Members in practice, members in service. But in the new one, we are going to call you professional accountant in public practice and professional accountants in service. First of all, this is the major difference which came in the old one and the new one. So what is the heading? Read the heading, please. Overview of the new code of ethics. So overview of the new code of ethics, they are simply saying that it is broadly classified into 4 parts. How many parts? 4 parts. Now read the part number 1, please. What is written? Part 1 deals with what? It deals with fundamental principles. And I want to ask you, can you please tell me what are the fundamental principles? If you remember, essay 200, usme we have done the basic principles governing an audit. I will repeat the words for you. Integrity, confidentiality. These are known as our what? Fundament. So this part 1 deals you with what? Fundamental principles. Be it a member in practice or be it a member in service, you both have to follow it. It means you should be honest towards your work and practice. You should be sincere towards your work and practice. And you have to maintain what? Confidentiality. Whenever you will come across any sensitive information of your client or employer, either in service or in practice. Are you getting now? So what is the first thing we need to learn? Fundamental principle. Again, part 1 में you also deal with what? Code. No need to go into detail. This is just an overview, which is for your examination. You also have to do it this much only. And part 3 talks about what? Conceptual framework. So please tell me, what does the part 1 deals with? It deals with fundamental principles. It deals with what? Code. And it deals with conceptual framework. Repeat again. Fundamental principles. It deals with code. And it deals with what? Now, this part 1 is applicable to whom? Who has to go through this fundamental principles, code, and conceptual framework? Both. Who are the both? Professional accountants in service and professional accountants in pub. Now, old one may we used to call it as MIS and we used to call it as MIP. That is the only difference which you have between the old code of ethics and new code of ethics. Did you get the point? So instead of calling them as member in service and practice, we call them as professional accountant in service and professional accountant in public practice. 100%. So part 1 में कोई doubt है? What is part 1 deals with? It deals with 3 things, sir. First one is fundamental principles, followed by code of ethics, and followed by conceptual framework. It is applicable to both of them. So part 1 is applicable to both of them. Professional accountants who are in service and professional accountants who are in practice. Public practice. Did you understand the point? 100% clarity? Any doubt or no doubt? No doubt. Okay. Now let's imagine ki what is part, let's understand what is part number 2 talks about. Like that, in the old one also we have the part 1 and part 2. Only 2 parts. But here we have 4 parts. So I'm just going to tell you the difference now. Part 2 deals with what? Additional material matters relating to providing what? Professional services. अब ये क्या बोला जा रहा है कि if you are into a practice, if you are into a practice and if you are providing this, what is this? Professional services, what additional obligations you have to follow as per the Chartered Accountants Act 1949. So whatever we have started from today till the next 3 days, we are only going to learn Chartered Accountants Act 1949. What is the name of that? Chartered Accountants Act. So Chartered Accountants Act has saying that ki part 2 is going to teach you the additional matters which are relating to your providing professional services. Now, who is covered in this part 2? Part 1 mein who was covered? Both. Part 2 mein basically it is applicable to professional accountant in service who are either employed or what engaged or what contracted for which position? Executive position or non-executive position in areas like industry, commerce, service, non-profitable sector, public services, in professional and legal bodies, and what? Education. So what are they trying to tell you that? Okay, suppose you qualified a CA course. After CA course, you are not into practice, you are into what? Service. Now, service in which sectors? First of all, to understand the sectors of service. Which service sectors? Suppose you are employed in industry, you are employed in commerce, you are employed in service, you are employed in non-profitable sector, you are employed in public services, you are employed in professional and legal bodies, or you are employed in which sector? Education. At which position you are employed? Either executive position or non-executive position. Who are you? You are a public professional accountant in service. तो हम लोग practicing की और non-practicing. Either you are what? Employed by them or you are engaged by them or contract. Can anybody tell me the difference between these 3 words? It's not only the words I told you, I'll tell you the meaning of each and every word. So point number 1, you are who? You are a professional accountant in service. You are employed. Employed means simply doing a what? Job. You are simply doing a job. 24/7 for 12 months, 365 days, you are doing a job. Engaged means what? You are on fees basis, not on salary basis. You are on which basis? Fees basis. Contracted means what? Ki you are only for a limited period of time. You are only for a which time? Once that this work will be done, you will be told to leave. So either you can be on employment basis, or you can be on engagement basis, or you can be on contract basis. Who are you? You are a professional accountant in service. In which position? Either executive position, non-executive. In which area? Areas are industry, commerce, service, non-profitable sector, education, public services, and engaged, employed, or contracted in public professional bodies and legal work. Anywhere you work, boss, part number 2 is applicable on you. Did you get the point? Now, question is, sir, is it only applicable to professional accountant in service? No. It also covers whom? Professional accountant in public practice, but only those who are engaged for what? Services as an employee in a CA firm. In a which firm? अब क्या होता है, लेट्स से फॉर एग्जांपल आई एम अ सीए इन प्रैक्टिस, राइट और नॉट? तो मेरी एक फर्म है, there is one another CA who is already holding his COP, but he is fresh in the market. He is not having any experience of practice. So he got employed by me to make him learn how a practicing CA does the work. So is he getting employed somewhere else or under the CA firm? Only those practicing CAs who are holding COPs are working under which firm? CA firm. They are also covered under part 2. Please tell me, did you understand? So who two are covered? Normal professional accountants in service who are either employed or अभी बोर्ड नहीं देखना, अभी अपने को रिटेन करना है, either employed or engaged or contracted as executive position or non-executive position in the areas like industry, commerce, service, non-profitable sector, public service, in education, in professional and legal body. So you are to all covered. Now, who is another person who is covered? Practicing CA or a professional accountant in public practice who is employed for the services only in which firm? CA firm. Normal company में if you are employed, first of all, let me tell you, clear you one thing. You are not allowed to practice and employ at the same time. You cannot practice and get employed at the same time. ICA does not allow you. So suppose you are holding COP and you want to go for a job, not allowed. But job allowed only in case if you are doing the job under a which firm? CA firm. If you are doing a job under a which firm, then ICA don't have problem. Because then ICA realize that okay, this CA in practice going to a CA firm to learn how a CA in practice does the work. Are you getting the point? So which public accountants in public practice we allowed? Only who are getting employed in a which firm? CA firm. So part 2 deals with them. Now, shall we do it in clubbed manner? What does part 1 deals with? Sir, part 1 deals with what? Fundamental principles, code of ethics and conceptual framework. It covers both of them. Who are both of them? Public accountants in practice and public accountants in service. दोनों को कवर करता है. What is part 2? Sir, it deals with what? Public accountants in service who are either employed or engaged or contracted on executive position or in the services, industry, commerce, non-profitable sector, public services, and in the professional and legal bodies and education. And it also covers the public accountants in what? Public practice who are getting employed for the services under which firm? CFR. So part 1, part 2 में कोई problem? 100% clarity. All the 4 clubbed I will ask you at the later end. Now let's understand the part 3 talks about. What is the part 3 talks about? It deals with what? Additional matters relating to professional services rendered only by whom? Professional accountants in what? Public practice. So it means part 3 is completely dedicated to CAs in practice. इसमें no CAs in service. तो part 1 में both. Part 2 में भी both to an extent. And part 3 is completely dedicated to whom? So read the whole part again. It deals with additional matters relating to professional services which are rendered by professional accountants in public practice only. Now let's talk about part 4. Part 4 deals with independent standards. Which standards? Acha, please tell me, first of all, do you all realize this fact that independence is highly important in the CA's life? Please tell me, how do you explain independence? Your opinion should not be biased, it should not be partial, and you should not get affected by the wishes and directions of someone, or you should not get influenced. That is what you mean by independent. So, can I say it in one word? You should not be financially connected with your client, and you should not be family wise connected with your client. In both the case, you will be immediately disqualified. Do you remember that disqualification section? 141 subsection 3, where you are disqualified for 11 times. Are you getting the point? Why all those disqualifications? Why all those stress is being maintained to ensure that ki CA in practice or CA in service should remain what? Independent. Now what the ICA has done? ICA has brought additional standards in the picture to bring your what? Independent. And don't worry, in the right now to you are doing SAs, SREs, SRS. Future में 41 more standards are waiting for you. But by the time you will get what? Qualified. But anyways, in your practice, it will be required. But our workload will increase. So ICA is already into the pipeline of building more independent standards. We already have SAs, SAEs, SREs, SRS, and SQC1, and SSAs, SIAs, and FISAs. There are total 8 different types of standards we already have. Ninth one is waiting for you, which are only dedicated towards which area? Independent. Usme they further classified into 4A and 4B. We are already doing part 4 and we classify into part 4A and 4B. Can you please read what is part 4A talks about? It deals with those independent standards to be applied when a public accountant, professional accountant in public practice is engaged for auditing services and review engagement. What are the two services? Auditing services. Pale, let me give you the clarity. What do you mean by auditing services and what do you mean by review? Review means basically, you all know listed companies, right? What do you mean by listed companies? Which are either listed under NSE or BSE, under the SEBI guidelines. Am I correct? जब आप एक listed company बनते हो ना, तो try to understand you are under an obligation that you have to produce your quarterly results. Which results? Quarterly results. So for the quarterly, we have to do something like audit, but not audit. We have to do something like, but not a, that something which is like a audit, but not a audit is known as a review. What do we call it as? And we have to follow SREs in that case. Standards on review engagement. Year end pay, what we will do? Audit. So we will follow SAs in that case. Did you understand the point? So SAs are something to be followed when we are doing what? Auditing. SREs are something to be followed when we are doing what? Review work. Review is basically done yearly also and quarterly also, which is different from what? Audit. The lower version of audit is known as what? Review. So part 4A now deals with what? Please read the point. It deals with those standards which are applicable to whom? Professional accountant in pub. Now question arises, sir, यहाँ पे service one क्यों नहीं आया? क्योंकि service one does not practice. Practice is only, standards are meant for the practicing CAs, not for the non-practicing CAs. So this is only applicable to public accountant in public practice engaged for which services? That is 4A. What is 4B? It deals with those standards to be applied for a professional accountant in public practice engaged for engagements which are other than what? अच्छा बताना बची कौन सी? Assurance engagements, attestation engagements, and related services. What are the three left? Assurance, attestation, and relate. So it means if you are getting engaged in auditing and review services, then part 4A is applicable to you. And if you are engaged in what? Other than auditing and review, what are the three? Assurance, attestation, and related. So part 4B is applicable to you. It means indirectly, can you please tell me, this part is also dedicated to whom? Professional accountants in public practice. So 3 and 4 are only on whom? Professional accountants in public practice. 2 was on whom? Both. Partially to the professional accountant in public practice, but majorly for professional accountant in service. 1 was completely dedicated to both of them. This is what is going to happen in the next 2 to 3 years. This is a new code of ethics which is going to come onto your way. But this is not in our portion. In our portion, we have what? Old code of ethics. Did you get the point or not? Even though it was already established 4 years back in 2020 during the COVID, but due to the two pandemic years, the ICA was not able to concentrate in developing this new code of ethics. I think that if they could have enough time during that time, it should have been implemented by now. But now I think, as per the sources, if we have, we they are saying that maybe by 2026 or 2027, the new code of ethics will get what implemented. Then whatever you are going to learn will be completely garbage, will of no use. Because what will be of use is done new code of ethics. So please tell me, overview of new code of ethics. When do you have a doubt? Please tell me how many parts it is divided into. Please tell me the parts. Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, Part 4. Part 1 talks about fundamental principles, code of ethics, conceptual framework, which is applicable to both, either a PA in PP or PA in S. Am I correct? Part 2 talks about, it talks about additional matters relating to PA in S, who is engaged, employed, or contracted on executive position or non-executive position in following areas. Area number one, industry, commerce, service, non-profitable sector, then professional and legal bodies, education, and uh, what was that? Public services. And for those PA in PP who are going to get engaged in a CA firm. Are you getting the point? And part 3 talks about additional matters relating to only dedicated to PA in PP, public accountants, professional accountants in public practice. And part 4 talks about independence standards, which is further classified into part 4A and part 4B. Part 4A talks about those professional accountants in public practices who are getting engaged for auditing and review engagements. And part 4B talks about those professional accountants in public practices who are getting engaged for the services other than auditing and review. What are those three other than auditing and review? First one is assurance, attestation, and medical. This is called your new overview. 100% clarity. Start making a note of it. Should I dictate or you will be able to write? Sure. Let me know if you are not comfortable there. Then I'll dictate. Please have a word with the management to change this because this will not be appropriate for you. So right from the day one, you were having the classes in this room only or somewhere else. That ground floor pay, like adjacent to our stairs, right? Okay. Okay, last time we had a batch there. Actually, that room is so huge that by looking at this room, it looks congested. There you could have said properly. Overview of new code of ethics. After writing this, take a break and then come back. Okay. Done, sir. Part 1 is over. Hmm? प्रोजेक्टर बहुत डल है. So all of you are local? I mean from here only or outside? From where, sir? Chennai. You, sir? Hyderabad. I'm from there. You, sir? महाराष्ट्र. टू फार नहीं. इधर से कर्नाटका साइड कोई? फ्रॉम बेंगलुरु. बल्लारी साइड बॉर्डर. You, अम्मा? फर्स्ट बेंच. लोकल. खमम. You, sir? लोकल ओनली. हैदराबाद. हैदराबाद में वो तो है ना केपीएमजी बोल के. बट दे डोंट डील विद फेस टू फेस, राइट? Done with the second one, please. Hmm. So once we are done with this chapter, our 16 to 20 marks portion will be over. But there are so many practices you need to do in this chapter. I'll tell you how do they ask you the different types of questions. We'll do some practice also for those questions so that you will get an idea, right? You can write in the bracket over there assurance, attestation, and related services for your understanding, right? Noted, sir? So there's another 5-10 minutes of discussion left. Let's complete it and then we'll be proceeding to NOCLA. Before that, you take a break, okay? Just 5-10 minutes more, right? Shall we? Okay. Okay, so new overview of the code of ethics mein, you already understood that. Now how many parts do we have? 4. But let me make it very clear to you. What we are going to do is only have 2 parts. Like the old code of ethics mein, how many parts are there? Now listen, not 2 parts, sorry. 2 schedules. How many schedules? Followed by 7 parts. How many parts? Followed by 34 clauses. How many clauses? 2 schedules, 7 parts, 34 clauses. But as per the new one, we don't know how many clauses are going to come. Because so far it has not been published by the ISA, right? So far we only know that it is broadly classified into 4 parts. Now before moving ahead, let me do a revision first. Tell me what was part number 1? It deals with conceptual framework, code of ethics and fundamental principles applicable to both. What was part 2? It deals with public accountant in professional accountant in public service to get engaged or employed or contracted for executive or non-executive in any of those areas. Followed by that, it is also applicable to professional accountants in public service which are in practice, but only those practicing CS who are getting hired by a CA firm, right? And part number 3 is completely dedicated to additional material services which could be provided by a professional accountant in public practice. And part 4th is also completely dedicated to professional accountant in public practice, followed by part 4A and 4B. Part 4A talks about independent standards relating to auditing and assurance services, and these are independent standards relating to other than auditing and assurance standard. Up to this, any doubt or no doubt? No doubt. Okay, now in the new overview, we are going to have some sections also. So they are saying, like in the old overview also, we have so many sections. So what they are saying is that it is also going to cover various set of what sections within which the professional accountants need to what work and comply, which is further classified into 3 areas. So when we will see the new code of ethics in the future, we will see that so many sections also will be there. Why sections? Because we are not doing any guideline. We are doing an act. What is the name of our act? Chartered Accountants Act 1949. So obviously act will contain some sections also. So what they are saying that when you will see the future sections of the new Chartered Accountants Act, you will find that every section will be divided into 3 parts. First of all, you will find the introduction of the section. What you will find? And what that section wants you to do, that is called requirements of the section. And what is the third thing? Application of the framework. Which clause will be applicable if you are following that section? So generally we see in a section, just say for example, we are talking about the buyback of securities, section number 68 of the Companies Act 2013. So buyback tells us that buyback means what? When the company buys its own security. So does that give us the introduction? Followed by that, after the buyback, the debt by equity ratio shall not be more than 2:1. Buyback can be done by passing a special resolution. All that is nothing but called what? Requirement. And the application of what? Framework. So they are saying that in the new code of ethics, you will find so many sections, but all the sections will be broadly classified into three areas. So the first area will talk about introduction of the section. Second will tell you the requirement of the section. And third will tell you the application of the framework. Is it clear? Now, what is the first part talked about? Fundamental principles ka idea you already have, but I can guarantee you when we'll read it from here, you will get more clarity. First of all, please tell me some fundamental principles. Integrity. First of all, we talked about what? Integrity. Can you please tell me integrity in your words? That's the only two words you can write. Honesty and sincerity. हम लोग बोलते हैं honest, sincere and straightforward. What are the three words? But if I will ask you, define integrity as a fundamental principle in the examination for 4 marks. So you don't have even 4 words to write. Are you getting the point or not? That's the reason we need to understand the each and every inch of the meaning of the word called what? Integrity. If this integrity word or objectivity or confidentiality will come into the examination, how will we be able to survive for how many marks? 4 marks. That is the major point. Now read this integrity. Integrity means a professional accountant is expected to be what? Honest, sincere, truthful, fair, and straightforward towards his work, roles, and duties. Means whatever the assignment you take, you do it in an honest manner. You did, and if you come across anything which you are not liking it, be straightforward and tell them that ki boss, change this. And be sincere towards your duties and roles. These are the major 3 things which are expected from you under the first fundamental principle called what? Integrity. Second thing, what is not expected from you? You are expected not to get what? Associated with following kind of assignments. Because if you, let me ask you one thing. You must have done section number 33 and 34 and 35 in the companies called misstatement of prospectus. Do you remember that? Civil liability, criminal liability. There was that or not? What do you understand by misstatement of prospectus? Can I say that prospectus is the bridge between the company and the public? How the public comes to know about the company? By reading a prospectus. And how the company invites the public offer? By issuing a prospectus. So is prospectus must be a truthful document or not? But if they are hiring you as a chartered accountant to make it misleading, and they are bribing you, they are corrupting you, ki Rohit, do certification on this, even though that the facts are not true and not correct, will you be associated with that or should not be? To read this point, you are expected not to get what? Associated. With which kind of assignment? That is called integrity. Read the assignment number 1. So those informations and those statements which are what? Misleading. Anything which is going to mislead the public, anything which is going to mislead the public at large, make sure that you should not get associated. That is what you mean by maintaining honesty and sincerity. So when you already know that companies' financials are very poor, their fundamentals are not so strong, and they are telling to the outside world that please come and subscribe our securities, and you are the one who is associated in drafting that prospectus, don't you think you are contributing in their misleading information? So it means, are you honest and sincere or you are dishonest? Do not get involved in those kind of assignments. So what are the things you should not do? Point number 1, don't get involved in such informations and such statements which are what in nature? Misleading. Point number 1. Point number 2, where omission of his statement would make it what? Misleading. Let's say, for example, there was one time in the prospectus where you should have made one statement, and your statement would have made the public to take a rightful decision. Which decision? Rightful decision. But you did not make that statement. It means you made or did not make? You omitted to make your statement. It means your omission made the prospectus misleading. Have you gone for the statement? Have you gone for inclusion of that statement? Public would have read it. If the public would have read it, they could have taken a right decision not to get involved into the public shares of that company. But you have not included your statement in the prospectus. That also made the prospectus what? Misleading. So something not to be included is called what? Omission. Read the point now. where the omission of your statement would make it what? Misleading. So what is the difference between A and B? You said something which is misleading, and you were supposed to say something, but you did not say that. That also made the prospectus what? Misleading. So either you included your statement or you omitted your statement. In both the cases, you are making the document what? Misleading. That is also not a part of integrity. It means you are dishonest towards your work. This is how what I told you, that extra which you need to write in the examination to get it for the 4 marks answer. What is the third thing? You should not work where the negligence is what? Involved. अब मैं तुम्हें एक छोटा सा एग्जांपल बताता हूँ prospectus का ही. Now prospectus में there is one part C in the prospectus. Section number 26 says that कि prospectus should look like part A, part B, part C. Part A talks about general information of the company. Part B talks about financial information of the company. Part C talks about clarification on general and clarification on financial, which is signed by a practicing what? CA. Ki I guarantee that what is written in part A and what is written in part B is true and correct. Now please tell me which is the most important part now? C. Where a practicing CA from outside is saying that ki whatever the company has written in part A and whatever they have written in part B is true and correct, and you are signing that document. Now please tell me, you already know from inside that nothing is true and nothing is correct, and you are signing it. Are you again making a fool out of the public or not? So read this point. It means you are getting what? Negligence involving your work. So wherever your negligence is involved, now people are not paying you lakhs and crores of fees just to be negligent. हमने अभी अभी बात करी, chapter number 1 was QC. What was QC? Quality control. People have a blind faith on coming into the office of practicing CA. You know that? A person who knows how to earn 10 CR in a year but does not know how to save the tax on that easily goes and jumps into the office of whom? Practicing CA. Because he knows that this person will help me in tax planning, not tax evasion. What is the difference between planning and evasion? Tax ko chori karna is known as what? Tax evasion. But planning your tax properly, well in advance, to reduce your tax burden is known as what? Tax planning. So he is ready to pay you 1 lakh rupee as a fees also just to do the what? Tax planning. And you are giving him a work which is gross negligent. Are you getting the point? You should tell your employees, you should tell your client not to get engaged into this. Otherwise, you will get a notice of GST or what? You will get a notice of IT. Is this your job or not? This is called honest, being honest towards your what? Work. So this is called the meaning of the word called what? Integrity. Ab batao, will you be able to write more now? Please tell me, what is integrity? Integrity is all about a professional accountant to be honest, sincere, truthful, straightforward towards his work, duties and functions. To maintain the integrity, he should not get involved into the following areas. Area number 1, not to get involved into that information and statement which will make the whole statement what? Misleading. And do not do any such kind of omission which will make the statement what? Misleading. And do not get involved into such kind of assignments where your negligence is what? Involved. This is how you can remain what? Honest and sincere towards your work. This is what you have to give an answer for the word called what? Integrity. Giving modified opinion on the above issue is a compliance of what? Integrity. अब मेरे को ये बताओ, there was some information. Let's say for example, they are saying that we paid the dividend consistently for the last 10 years. एक normal human being को क्या लगेगा, who is not having a commerce background? What he will see? Oh, company is having a consistent track record of paying what? Dividend since last 10 years. But that person does not know that ki dividend is paid out of the revenue profits of the company. Which profits? But when we actually see the company's financials, in the last 10 years, company has not earned even a single profit. So company is a loss-making company, but you are saying that we have a consistent track record of paying the dividend for the last what? 10 years. A normal human being will not be able to connect these things. It is whose responsibility to bring it to the notice? Auditors. Chartered accountants' responsibility. That's why we are expected to maintain what? Integrity in our work. Did you get the point? So which was our first fundamental principle which we are done with? So wherever you think that unmodified opinions to be given, give the unmodified opinion. But where you think that inch of information is there which makes your opinion unmodified, either in qualified, adverse or disclaimer, don't think twice before giving it. It is your, that is what 705 teaches us, na? 705 क्या बोलता है? The moment you see mm, what is mm? Material, missed it. Quantify it. If it is only material but not pervasive, settle with qualified. But if it is material as well as pervasive and you have an evidence of that, then go for adverse. But if you don't have an evidence, the possible impact is material but having a pervasive effect, then go for what? Disclaimer. That is what is expected. This is called integrity. These standards are maintained to maintain your what? Integrity. So that brings an end to your discussion on the first fundamental principle called what? Now please take a break. So the first fundamental principle, everyone, integrity we are done with. They are telling us to be honest, sincere and straightforward and not to get engaged into the following kind of activities which involves your negligence, which involves your mistreatment and which in which your omission may lead it to what? Mistreatment. Okay? That's how you can maintain the integrity. Followed by the second one. What is the second one, everyone? Objectivity. Achha, objectivity, sincerely, the two words which come to our mind is called impartial and unbiased. What do you mean by impartial and unbiased? They are simply telling us that never accept gifts and favors from your client. Because if you will accept the gifts and favors today, tomorrow definitely you will end up paying it what? Back. No one is going to help you. Basically, this is going to be a self-interest threat. If you remember, we have done the 5 types of threats at intermediate level. One was self-interest, self-review, advocacy, intimidating, and familiarity threat. It is one of your self-interest threat. So what they are simply saying that ki never be partial and never be biased towards your work. And when you will accept the gifts and favors from your client. So be ready to avoid such kind of favors, such kind of supplies when the client is going to give you. Are you getting the point? Because today he might be doing a favor on you, but tomorrow definitely he will ask you which return favor. Are you getting the point? That is how you maintain what? Objectivity. Now read what they're saying. A professional accountant is expected to be what? Impartial and unbiased throughout his services to the client as well as to what? Employer. It means that is for sure that these fundamental principles are not only for professional accountant in public practice, it is for both professional accountant in public practice as well as in service. So either you are serving your client or you are serving your employer, you need to maintain impartial and unbiased attitude throughout your work. Are you getting the point? Never accept any gifts and favors from your employer, nor you accept any gifts and favors from your client. Second thing, not to fall into a situation where he or she needs to compromise their what? Objectivity. अब जैसे मैं तुम्हें let me tell you the example of one of my friend. Now what has happened? You all know that pandemic situation came in 2020. During that, my friend was running his institution, so he fell short of so many of funds because of the shutdown of his business, right? During that time, he asked his clients to give him the advance audit fees. You know that taking the advance audit fees does not make you disqualified. You can take the advance audit fees, but the problem with taking the advance audit fees was what client took it as a favor, what they have done to the chartered accountant. Now, in the month of March only, do you know that pandemic lockdown happened in the month of March? So he took so many like clients he called and he said that please give me the advance of audit fees because I have to rerun my institute. Now when the time of the audit came, that is exactly the month of June, July and May, when we are too much engaged in the auditing work, that time those clients asked him the return favor. Boss, we favored you what? When you needed the funds. Now it's time for us, you to do a favor to us. So even though he did not do anything which is against the law, but as he has taken the advance audit fees, he was under an impression and under a compulsion to return the favor back to the home clients. So they are simply saying that na prevention is better than cure. Not to get involved into such kind of activity where you need to compromise your objectivity. Read the point number 1 again. Not to fall into a situation where he or she needs to compromise their what? And not to perform anything on the wishes and directions of the management and under their what? Influence. That is how you can maintain the impartial and unbiased attitude throughout the audit. Dekho, try to understand one thing clearly. I'm telling you from a practical experience also. One client will go, 10 more will come. We are very scarce resource in the market. There are hardly 3,96,000 chartered accountants in the market, out of which only 30% are in what? Practice. So imagine that ki hardly 1,20,25,000 chartered accountants in practice, but the number of companies to do audit for are in lakhs. Number of partnership firms, sole proprietor whose turnover is more than 1 crore, tax audits, environmental, social, energy, concurrent bank, 100,000 lakhs of audits are available in the market. You will never be facing any situation of hunger. I'm giving you my promise. Once you will get qualified. क्योंकि becoming a CA तो it's definitely sure that you will not die by hunger. पैसा आता ही रहेगा. Money will come, keep on coming. One client will go, another will come. Because you don't need them, they need you. That's what we are going to learn. Have you ever seen any chartered accountant doing an advertisement? Have you ever seen ऐसा करके फोटो डालो बड़ा पोस्टर में buy one get one free? Did you see any early bird discount 70% off on statutory audit? Have you ever radio, FM or any newspaper seen the advertisement done by the CS? But still our office works. Still people come and search our offices on the Google because even though you have, this much of size of the board, then also they will come to know that, okay, this is CA's office. Because we don't need them, they need us. That's why we are completely prohibited in doing the solicitation and advertisement. You are not allowed to solicit and advertise. You will not even see the chartered accountants having a glowing kind of signboards. Reason? We are not even allowed. Simple either blue or green in color or maximum black and white in color. And that too maximum this much of size of the board you will see. That too people will come to you, not the you have to go to the people. That is called what? Objectivity. So always remember one thing. You are not going to compromise your impartial and unbiased attitude. Either you're working under an employee or you're working for a client. This is how you can escape from like being inobjective. This is how you can maintain your what? Objectivity. So what are our two fundamental principles we are done with? First one, integrity. Second one is objectivity. What is the third one? Professional competence and due. This is highly important for today. Let me start it with this like, Acha, please tell me, what is more important today? Is it the qualification or is it the skill? Skill. Let me tell you one thing. After getting qualified as a chartered accountant, dare you not do the course called DISA, you are out of the market already. Only becoming a CA will not make you survive. After becoming a CA, you just go to the ICA.org. There are 116 post qualification courses available for you. You have to become registered valuer. You have to give the examinations like insolvency professional. You have to be official liquidator examination, forex and treasury management, insolvency professional. Hundreds of courses are there. DISA, Diploma in Information System Audit. That is the first thing you need to do after getting qualified. Because dare you not do this course, neither any client will give you his audit, nor any employer will give you the employment. Reason? Because 99.99% of the organizations today are completely fully automated. If the organizations are fully automated, you have to also automate your auditing skills. आपको learn करने पड़ेंगे ये courses. DISA, CISA. I'm already at DISA. I'm planning to do CISA. Reason being very simple, क्योंकि international clients को भी serve करना पड़ता है. Are you getting a certificate in information system auditor? Now client is using SAP, he is using Oracle, he is using MAN, he is using different types of softwares, ERPs. You only know how to switch on and switch off the computer. How you will survive? This is where the course comes like diploma in information system audit. That the first course which ICSI will, like our institute will provide, then CISA, which is an international course you have to do. Why did I choose to become insolvency professional? You won't believe single assignment gives you 40-60 lakhs of turnover. It's the highest paid remuneration right now to be a liquidator. Insolvency professional means what? Under the IBC code, even a single assignment takes maximum 2 to 3 months. Like that, if you have the 4 clients in a year, 2.5 CR is your turnover. And you know that who is the overriding preferential payments when we do the liquidation? Liquidators expenses and remuneration. सबसे पहले पैसा हमें मिलता है. After that to the secured creditors, then unsecured, then preference, then to the equity. You have done that chapter or not? This is what I'm trying to tell you. Just a course of 6 months can fetch you 30-40 lakhs per assignment. 2 crores का टर्नओवर तो आपका कहीं पे भी नहीं गया, इवन इफ इन अ ईयर. एंड यू नो इंडिया में स्टार्टअप्स आर गोइंग ऑन. Due to the startups, what is the problem? 95% of the startups fail in India due to the lack of availability of raw material, labor, and cheap, expensive availability of talent. And if the 95% are getting failed, it means they're getting liquidated. There comes the need of people like us. Liquidation, official liquidators, directly appointed by High Court. Go to that company, try to rerun it, not rerunning, then liquidate it, then wind up, and then dissolve. The whole process fetches only 2 to 3 months and gives you 30 to 40 lakhs of turnover, minimum I'm talking about. And like that, 2 to 3 clients you get. This is what the power of becoming IP. But when you can become an IP after 10 years of practice. अब मैंने भी तो अभी recently last year only I gave the exam. I came into practice 2002. I got qualified in 12. So 2012 में I came into practice and 22 में I was eligible to give IP exam. And you have to give it directly under insolvency professional body under IBC code 2016.